Hello, it is I, Steve No Job. I'm finally wearing my own clothes today, and I will be sharing my spicy perspectives on some shows and movies. Me and Pikachu forgot to mention that I will be reading off of my own notes because this endeavor started on Instagram and I decided to house my thoughts somewhere more permanent. Is that a bad decision? Possibly. Alright, first up we have The Dark Knight from 2008. I watched it for the first time a couple of days ago. Here are my thoughts. Point A, boring. Point 2, main lady looks like director's wife. Point 3, misogyny. Point 4, anti-Asian. Point 5, pro-cop. Point 6, the last 3 minutes of it was good. And then point 7, conceptually weak. Point 8, I heard this was the best Joker and he's okay. He was okay, he did the job. Moving on, this is my review of Lady Bird. Point 1, I had to try 2 times to watch it because it was boring. I can't remember much, honestly, even though I really do like Saoirse Ronan. Next point, isn't racist but feels racist. Next, only good quality was that line about attention is love. Last point, I don't know, man, 8th grade was more compelling. I'm over this moody, artsy stuff. Moving on. Yes, my review of Little Women. I only have 3 points for this one. Note 1, I really love Florence Pugh, but she stood out a bit in a weird, off-tone kind of way. She just seemed like a little too modern, or a little bit unlike the other sisters for my taste. But then again, I don't think they were going for that type of like accuracy or cast blendedness. So, next note. Cried like 3 times, but not like real cries, you know, like crying for white people films for like 1.5 seconds and then being totally fine after, yeah. Last note is the timing and the coordination and like the lots of voices at once thing was good, yeah. Greta Gerwig is good at white women things. She's got very strong vision. It's just, I'm not white, you know? So it's boring. Moving on. My review of The Farewell. I think it's good if you were born in the US or you're like East Asian, you know, and you're like hung up on like, oh my God, I'm not here or there. 2 different cultures reside inside of me. Yeah, if that is your life, I think you would like it. I did not. Anyway, I can tell this film has craft. I could tell that it was good at being a film. I remember leaving the theater and thinking, yes, it felt like a filmmaker's film. But the script didn't really move me. It just didn't. And this is purely because of life experience. Yeah, I don't know, I was a little disappointed. Yeah, I thought it would be a little more, you know, but I could see the ways that it was powerful and good for other people. I could see the ways that it was poignant, just not personally. Ooh, Birds of Prey. I think this was one of the only good things about 2020. The first point, only watched once, so can't confirm, but I thought it was a near perfect movie, if not perfect. Second point, for the first time in my life, considered buying a film. You know, I understood white people a little more. I think it hadn't clicked why would you ever want to buy a thing, you know? And then my next point was actually, never mind, the first time I considered buying a film was Into the Spider-Verse. And then I put, this movie is more Asian American than Crazy Rich Asians. And if you don't know why, you did not look at who directed it. Next point. Ooh, Margot Robbie not only was amazing, she produced it. she went and chose Kathy Yan because she saw like another lesser known thing she did. And she was like, yep, that's it. That's who I want to direct. Like, the vision. Oh my god, Robbie's so good. And then she like got to do the character justice. Because let's be real, everybody hated those pants from Suicide Squad. I don't know, I didn't watch. Next movie, Arrival. Conceptually so good. So good. Because it was based off of a short story by Ted Chiang. I'm sorry. Next point, Amy Adams is cool. I think she works hard. I think she's good. But like, I think like really any white woman could have played that role. You know, like any like nice motherly white woman who can like be sad and sentimental could have played that role. Which meant that you should have given it to a person of color. If it really didn't matter what like white woman you put in there, I think you should have given it to a person of color. But like, I get it, like you need star power to make money. But in my opinion, like your craft suffers. Your ability to contribute towards better, positive societal change also suffers. Honestly, this one had anti-Chinese vibes in it too, which is funny. We're not gonna talk about internalized racism, but my point, my reasoning behind this as to why it has anti-Chinese vibes, aside from being like, oh no, we want to work together and figure this out, but China is like, let's be secretive. Might I remind you that during this pandemic, the United States has been the weakest link. So if we had to come together as a planet to not die, it would be the United States that would fail us all. The next point, it was elegant. I thought it was an elegant story. Yeah. Next, men are cowards is kind of a theme or like a lesson that we see over and over again in this film. So I enjoyed that. It was a truth embedded in the story. And then I thought the building of the extraterrestrial language was very cool. I don't know if it was described that way in the original text or not, but whoever developed that concept, it was awesome. I would have to watch it again, but I wonder if they showed too many flashbacks, or just enough, because I was mildly annoyed by those. I think at one point I was like, why do you keep showing this child? I get it, you're like ruminating. I was obviously, we find out what it is, but I wonder if they used too many of those. Oof, yeah, the coloring was really dreary. Like I get it, it was like sci-fi, and then I put like, for the love of God, it was like watching like a cloudy day all the time. I don't know. It like, I get it, that was the move, but did it have to be? Overall, Squidward's was a good film. I liked it. I did not come up with Squidward's. I think How It Should Have Ended or something of the like on YouTube came up with that. I thought it was very funny. It will never leave my mind. Yes. The half of it. First of all, it was very good. And then second of all, I put finally an atheist or agnostic Asian American. I don't know where y'all live, but I live in Texas. So a lot of Asian Americans are religious, and sometimes the circumstances that you meet them through are extremely traumatic. Yeah, they scare me. I am of a certain age where you cannot get me anymore. It is too late. Like, that boat has sailed. If you wanted to indoctrinate me, maybe you should have caught me earlier, like at like a really weak point in my life, like a middle school or something. Anyway, I put I know that our love interest Esther was hot, and she was also a person of color in this town, but she was very, very light skinned. Very light skinned. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, just some thoughts for next time. So I thought this movie was a very good use of film as a medium to show things, because there was a lot of unspoken stuff that we saw that ended up being another layer of storytelling. I thought it was great. And then in quotation marks, I put, this technique is also very Asian to me. I would lean into this if I made films, but I do not.
Because I'm poor.
But imagine how many messages you could really pack in. And Alice Wu did a lot of that. White dude was a really good actor. Yeah, he was noticeably good. Next point, sheds light on survival in a small town as people of color. I only grew up in ethnic enclaves, so I wouldn't know anything about this, but I think it was an important story to tell, and I think a lot of people can relate to this. And the point after that was, if it wasn't set in a small town that was predominantly white, I would give it a lot more shit for this beautiful platonic friendship with this white boy, because it did give him a lot of screen time, and it gave him, it gave like good white person vibes, like not necessarily what white savior, but like, just like good people. I mean, white people can be good. But because it is a small town, I have to remember that there are literally no other options. But if this town was diverse, but it was powerful, like that was the point. It was community building. That was the message. I really love Leah Lewis's face and the fact that she was kind of tan instead of just paler. Yes, I also liked that the main character was good at school and kind of nerdy still, but she wasn't apologetic about it. It was just kind of like a fact that she's just good at school. Also, like, she was hot for the humanities. Like, I can really dig that. Like, she was hot for words. Weird flashback. Yes, because, like, I'm all for us being nerds and good at school. Because, like, yeah, it's a stereotype, but also, like, that's... If we're good at school, we're good at school. But politically speaking, socially speaking, like, I tend to watch movies from the perspective of like a polite racist living in rural America. I watch movies like as myself, but also like as them. Like, if I've never seen an Asian before, what would I think after this movie? And so like in that way, like that she's kind of nerdy, and I'm like, it does reinforce stereotypes. But I felt like it was important for the film, for the character to be good at school, and also like reflective of reality for a lot of people. Yes, the dynamics with the dad were beautiful. The dynamic of like white dude and dad is really touching. And then the dynamic with like the main character and her dad, it was good. It was good. Yeah, I'm gonna make my mom see this film. I just have to build up the energy to feel again, because this one did make me feel things. I thought there were lots of really profound human moments. I thought it was just so full of humanity, this film. In the best way, but also like in some bad ways, which is part of humanity too. I thought it was an extremely good Netflix movie, but I wonder, like, what they could have done if they had more money, or like I wonder like what kind of limitations they had to work with. I just wonder like how it could have been even more elevated. But if they thought like, man, this was the perfect movie we could have made, then like awesome. But I do like wonder if the vision of the filmmaker was like she got everything she wanted. The next film on my list, Shoplifters. I put so fucking good. I only love like 3 to 5 movies, and this was one of them. In my personal opinion, it was better than Parasite. Yeah, No Nuance November. Burning. It's good. The direction felt very deliberate. Very deliberate. The casting was very good also. And then I thought Steven Yeun was incredibly compelling in what I would personally consider a dream role to play. I watched it alone in an empty movie theater. I was literally the only person on a weekday morning, and I was kind of really on edge the entire time, but it felt so liberating. Because I don't like it when people watch for my reactions when I watch movies. And then it was like 2 male protagonists, but it did not feel boring. Dumplin on Netflix. Very rarely am I proud to be from Texas, but this film made me feel Southern pride. It had the good essence of the South and not the, "Ooh, we want to burn you." Politically, I think this movie moves the needle forward and propels us into the present, meaning the South into the present, because there are obviously some impressions about what the South is like from some blue states. Okay. Obviously, we stan a character who isn't skinny. I am obviously very skinny, and I don't like skinny people. They're mean. Overall, Dumplin, a wholesome movie.
I'm not looking for one night. You're not looking for a love life. Maybe we can have a good time.